Today, Peter will be sharing with us, and it's I guess it's something more internal for you guys. So please give your undivided attention to Peter.
Thank you, Wagner. What I wanted to go over today is a thought that I had when I was training loan officers here and there. And ultimately, if we have this fundamental lined up, then we can apply in many different situations. And I prepared a slide. Do you guys see my screen? Okay, so let's dive into it. So when you picture this, you're in a meeting, you're nodding along, but you're inside and drowsing in a buzzword. So you meet someone that you want to earn their trust right away, but some kind of a trust that turns clients into some fans who send their friends into your ways. So how do you determine this? So we prepared 11 principles that can apply in our mortgage business today. So why this matters is the complex services that we provide sometimes is very overwhelming. So as our loan officer role is to become the tour guide who can make them simple, as human as possible, and doable. First-time home buyers are very weak and sometimes very uneducated with financial terms. So I want these turn into this, something that sparks, that brings in referrals and lock in loyalty with our team members. First, when I train my loan officers, we use a lot of jargon. So every industry pretty much is similar, but with us, DTI, LTV, APR, and all these finance terms that we use, clients don't, live in our world. So we have to speak plainly. So instead of saying your DTI is too high, we need to say, for this loan, we need your monthly debt compared to income is lower, can be lowered. Let's explore some options. So instead of giving them any confusion, we can welcome them. We can bring them into our conversation and be on the same page. Jargon confuses, but clarity always closes. So when we talk about our content, when we prepare our situation, our financial standing, seldomly we tend to rush. But silence isn't awkward. It's a very powerful tool that deposits bring clients time to process and respond with whatever that we presented. And it also shows confidence in us that we don't have any hesitation with our presentation. So think of it like good music. Always it starts with a quiet beginning. It rests, makes the notes hit harder as it goes furthermore. So when we give advices to our clients and realtors, and our SOIs. Sometimes the best move for the client isn't necessarily the best move for the client's wallet, right? The monthly payment, the target payment always comes into play. So when we tell someone to wait 6 months to fix their credit or prepare the larger down payment, sometimes may delay our commission, may delay the closing for number of the partners around us. But as we start saying this to our clients, going directly for their interest, it's cemented the trust with our clients and realtors for the longer term. It is difficult, but when we plan things for the long game versus the quick win for the commissions, it will lead us into better positions. So when we pull the credit, when we review the file, we want to dive in. We want to, as if we're interviewing the client, interrogating them. We go into, very short, questions such as, do you have good credit? Do you have good income? That doesn't clarify specific details. So instead of saying questions like that, I want us to have an open-ended question such as, tell me more about your credit history. Tell me more about your employment history. What had happened in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? We want to know their lives, stories, context that can imply into the real insights. Open-ended questions. You can dig in deeper. You can prolong the conversation longer and provide more information that they actually wanted to hear. You never know. What if they have random down payment from a family member or, investment that they had made 3-4 years ago? Lately, as the stock market is blazing and going up, a lot of people who didn't were not prepared became prepared. Random down payment of $60,000 to $100,000 were all prepared in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So we don't have to be, we don't have to get involved with all the tax implications after selling their stocks. But however, if they want to use this as a tool to prepare for the down payment, why not? Let them have an option. Let them, entertain some options that they may have. So I want all of us to be proactive and deliver what we have prepared to the clients, especially if when it's bad news, we have to deliver it as soon as possible. as clear as possible. So when we pull the credit and credit score is, let's say, 600, we shouldn't say something like your credit is terrible. Instead, we can say something like, here's what we can improve with your profile. We can pay down your credit card X amount each month so you can have better terms, better rate. And we have this rapid rescore system in our credit agencies where we pay $6 per credit bureaus. So when we have 3 credit bureaus, we don't have to pay all 3. Just pay the top 2. And then when one of these 2 top 2s grow, then our mid FICO score will grow as well. So more practice makes perfection. So if you have any clients willing to pay, great. If not, I want us to start paying for these services and practice before we send it, to Mike So for credit repairs. If it's simple, pay down, overall debt ratio reduction, we don't have to overpay to Mike and then, go through all these 3 to 4 weeks of waiting. When the client has enough money to pay down, and when we can do a rapid rescore, then we can bring something from 600 to 680 within 3 days. And all these options that we need to deliver need positive attitude. It is difficult, but we have to somehow analytically review the file, write it down, and deliver it thoroughly. When we get involved with our clients, we tend to mix our business and social personal together. Last week, we went over the content that talks about, is it necessary to have a personal SNS versus business SNS? We can be friendly, but when we keep the main thing, little personal chat is fine. But if we don't get involved too much, I don't let the meetings turn into a coffee date. So I want us to have a professionalism separate out with a personal information, personal content, so that we can earn respect and focus with whatever that we want to entail. So when we deliver content online, email, text message blasters, let's not fake it. When you don't know it, let's say that we don't know it. We can study and learn from it. So we need to start saying, such as, great question, great insight. We can say that we will confirm the information and get back to them instead of making things up. Admitting gaps, admitting misunderstanding, and following up fast builds more trust than guessing wrong. So one may say, then how fast do we have to get back? My train of thought is always 2 hours. Within 2 hours during the business hours is my target. Even if you don't have the answer, when you receive a text and email, acknowledge the message and email and set a time. Set a specific timeline that the respondent can expect an answer from you. Quick replies stop clients from wandering to someone else. So when I ask my loan officers, my processors to provide me answers for a specific task, one may say that I'm micromanaging too much. But at the same time, we as a whole team need to be on the same page. We need to go and achieve the same goal. So quick response, quick replies, quick communications of 5 to 10 minutes is better than 6, 7, maybe a follow-up next day. So we have to take a clear position. When they ask, what do you do? What would I do? Then we need to answer that we have to, when we provide solutions, it must make sense. It shouldn't sound something like that we are making things up, such as government FHA, VA, USDA rates are cheaper than conventional, but they are more expensive. But we have to address the why and how much it is more expensive than the conventional loan. So we can recommend a 30-year fixed loan. It is the lowest payment and gives the flexibility to our clients, but we have to also dive in furthermore when the debt to income ratio is 20, 30%. Why not look into 20 years fixed and 15 years fixed, right? So I want us to have the expertise with the product that we sell. Our client, our realtors want a guide, not a menu. We have to give them specific reasons why we provide. So I recommend us to provide at least 2 options when we present. Option A, the best. Option B, the alternative. Surprisingly, when the client choose the product, the follow-up ratio is lesser. We are gonna launch a new program later this year, helping us to sell the rate with screenshots, with presentation. We don't have to do all the sales on the phone calls anymore. So before you get into a meeting, let's prepare. Let's start with an agenda. We have to keep things on track, conclude with a recap, and outline the next steps. So when we have a proper structure that gives us the respect for their time and proof that we are in control. So when I call my clients, I always ask them what I want to talk about, and I ask them how many minutes that they have. So I decide whether I go, whether I dive deep or I set apart next meeting so that we can go over some specific numbers. So I send them a follow-up text, email, and Google Calendar reminder. Surprisingly, the Google Calendar now has a free feature that sends out automatic updates to our clients, to attendees. So send them agenda, specific understanding, and follow-ups ahead of time, ahead of the meeting, and take visible notes. What I usually do is share the meeting screen and type through on the Google Docs, and follow up with a summary email. After the meeting is done, even though you gave them a recap, you send them a follow-up text message or email explaining how the meeting was and with a summary of the content, specific numbers. Though this gives professionalism and stops details from slipping through our cracks. When clients say, can you summarize what we talked about and send me via email and text? We shouldn't be discouraged. We need to take notes. We need to do it at the same time so that we can just copy and paste or use a Gemini that we provide, polish the content and send it out right away. So these 11 things, I don't think they are random tips. They all work together in my eyes, and I want us to share the same vision. So when we use them consistently, whether it's small or big, we can become the professional people who we can trust and be remembered and be referred. So when we look into all 11 things, if you have any 3 principles that you are the weakest, I want us to point them, apply them on every interaction this week and watch what happens. And takeaway is which one of these, if you mastered it, could turn into one-time client into a lifetime advocate. Power of imagination always applies. Any questions, any takeaways that you want to share, or should I pick on you?
I really like the open-ended question. That's something I do a lot. I always ask, what is your goal, right? It's always open-ended. It gives them room to talk and give their thoughts and let them understand that I'm trying to help, right? Another one too that I really like is the accountability, right? When I don't know something, I clearly tell them, I'm like, okay, let me get back to you on that, right? So accountability has always been kind of an important thing to me as well.
For me, it's the power of the pauses. I can overhear a lot of your conversations, and in my opinion too, it's kind of confusing. It's like, whoa, that's a lot of as you mentioned, jargon, acronyms that I might not be aware of, and so sometimes I empathize with the listener where they might need some time to, ingest what you guys have told them, understand at first what you guys are talking about before they can give a response. So yeah, the power of pauses I think was a good takeaway for me.
Thank you, Harrison. Two more people. I know we have set time, but it is important to identify what you want to work on, and then we can put notes on how we were applying so that we can compare our data next week.
Peter, what was number 10 again?
Number 10 was control meetings. I'll share the slideshow after, or I'll share the link right now.
I like number 11, Peter. Agenda. I always send a follow-up, but I never thought about sending like a pre-meeting notes and agenda, like break it down for the borrower so they know what to expect. I realized like when we start the meeting, they don't know what to expect, and they're just in there like just listening and with no questions, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I like that idea.
Peter, FYI, that link doesn't work.
Same on my end too. It's showing like an error page.
Gotcha. Let me see if I can download it.
Yeah, while Peter's doing that, I can honestly personally just vouch here that just about every one of those 11 steps is something that one way or another, shape or form, that I'm incorporating with my clients, right? I mean, you do it for as long as some of us have do it, you pick things up. So this is great, right? This brings a little bit of formality and structure, and also something just for awareness that to be conscious about, right? A lot of the stuff I'm sure you guys are doing subconsciously. The couple big ones for me would be timely manner responses. Okay, you guys, I don't know whether you're talking with an agent or with a borrower. People just assume you're too busy. Okay, while the expectation is, I hope Ragnar, I hope Alex, I hope I hope that they will answer my call. Subconsciously, they're always thinking, oh, they're too busy, right? And so when they ring or answer the phone or they text you or email you and you give a quick response, it gives them a good feeling, right? How many of you guys have been just on your computer for that matter, and you received an email and you were able to, and it's an inquiry or, hey, Harrison, can you create this open house flyer? And you respond because you happen to be on your laptop and you respond right away. How many times have you guys received a response like, oh my goodness, thank you for that quick response, right? I do that all the time, right? When escrow and title, this is how I kind of gauge my escrow and title officers. I send an email. Heck, let's just say this. I'm not putting it out there. They're wonderful. They're great. But let's just say you're sending an email to our Giving Tree processing team, right? If you get a response from them 5 hours later, as opposed to 5 minutes later, or as opposed to 5 seconds later, it makes you feel good, right? It's like, oh my goodness, they addressed it right away. How much more so with title, escrow, agents, but it's reciprocated on the other end, right? So for me, I mean, I think there will be some producers who will say, don't do that. I have admitted it over and over again. The past 3 years I've been with Giving Tree, my phone is always with me. My phone is always on, and I always respond. And it is a reputation that I have built over the years. Rogner always responds. But you know what? Whether it's right or wrong, all I know is my agents, they see me as dependable and dependable and reliable, right? How much more so if you do that over the weekends, on a holiday weekend, on a 3-day weekend, right? You gain more of that trust and that dependability from not just your agents but also your clients. So that's always been a big one for me.
We tend to lose files because of our lack of transparency and follow-ups and late responses. I lost 2 purchases this weekend because I told them I won't be available. I'm busy unpacking. An agent sent it to us elsewhere, and she said, I'm not the only loan officer that she can call. She was working with me for the last 7 years, and she said, it's only 2 files, Peter. It's not going to hurt our relationship. But I have to go and meet her this time when I go. This never happened in 7 years. Whether I was busy or away, she was waiting for me. But it seems like Wagner said, everybody's busy or busier. They say they don't have a luxury to wait for us. So I'm going to start working on Saturdays. I'm going to take one of the weekdays off so that I can work fully on Saturday. I need it. My team are asking for it. My agents are asking for it. What do I do, right? And if it doesn't turn out great, then I'll adjust then. But I have to try something different because that's what they're asking for, right? Thank you for sharing, Wagner. Anyone else? One more person. Or let's pick Sydney. You are our youngest loan officer in our office. What was your takeaway after listening to this?
One of my main takeaways was, I think, developing separate social life and professional life. Because I'm newer in the industry, I think my professional personality is something that I'm still working on creating. So keeping in mind to try to keep it separate from my social life is something that I'm thinking about a lot lately.
So have you applied anything after you thought about it?
I mean, I think I try to apply it every day, even when I'm just talking with some of like escrow officers or, whoever I'm having conversations with. I try to keep in mind that I'm staying in a professional setting and to try to separate my own personal or social life from all of my conversations.
Okay, great. Thank you, team. We're gonna try to implement some of these ideas and contents that we used. And next week, Wagner will share his tips and skills that he's using when he consults his clients and realtors. But more so, if we talk about these implications and examples that we can directly use the next day, the following day, we can try many things. Refi boom is around the corner, so we have to, be educated as much as possible. As many tools as possible need to be utilized as soon as possible, ASAP, so that we can, you don't have to be sorry when the day comes. I really feel it. Non-QM especially is just blazing through. In Georgia State, it's opportunities abundant. I called this client and realtor, and he said, I was the first one that I was calling in the last 3 weeks. I don't know why loan officers are not calling anymore. or people here are not calling as much as Californians. So it's a great news that the busy ones, the active senior loan officers, don't have enough time to do cold calls. So when we have a file, great, work on them. If you don't have a file to work on, let's dive in. Let's pivot a little bit differently to contact our realtors around us that, we are here to serve, and we are, offering something in lower sixes, starting from there all the way to non-QMs and hard money loans. All right. Thank you so much for jumping on today. Have a great week, and see you all next week.
Thank you, Peter. See you guys. Bye-bye.